Yeah, we were to go back that virtually before the NBA playoffs began, very early in the process, you went and picked the Toronto Raptors to win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
He knows a thing or two about hoops.
Yeah. So what tipped you off?
I loved the chemistry that they had. I loved how Leonard was really asserting himself as a superstar, and I felt like he could lead them. And I wasn't sold on some of the other teams. I mean, I still think they struggle if Golden State's healthy, but the Raptors, to me, were a little bit different than the other teams that they were playing against.
Is the idea that Golden State couldn't make it to the finish line with all these injuries a product of all the basketball they've played over the last few years, partially?
I think so, no question. I mean, you look at how many extra seasons they played. When they were sharing the stats about LeBron, I mean, LeBron's played like 5 extra seasons based on this postseason. So I definitely think it's something that they've got to take notice of, and somehow we got to monitor it.
It's almost more fun than the playoffs themselves.
Well, the media, it's always a bigger story what's going to happen next year, who's going where, who's going to be drafted, all of those things, than the games that are going on. So free agency's off and running, even though it's not legally off and running. Anthony Davis being traded to the Lakers, and apparently the Lakers are trying to rework the deal now to free up more cap room. They currently have, I believe, 4 players on their roster. 4. You need 5 still, right? Unless you go Gene Hackman.
I'll play for him.
You got it?
I would love to
you might have
jump
to
on
pass.
that team. I would, that's
you might have to pass. Can you do that?
That's all I would do.
Kind of a Boston Celtics sympathize with me. What gets me is the way this whole thing has changed is that Boston has laid out a perfect plan and executed it perfectly. Planned, managed, did everything well. Mm-hmm. The Lakers were a picture of dysfunction.
Sure.
They fall into this thing, and now suddenly they're the favorites, and the Celtics absolutely don't know where they're going to be next.
I don't know where this idea that the Lakers are going to be fine is coming from. Like, great, you got AD and you got LeBron James, but you have 2 years. 2 years to make this work, and you mortgage the future. Let's not forget, too, they could have got the reigning finals MVP for half of what they gave up for Anthony Davis, who is not signing a long-term contract before the season starts. Are you out of your mind? Like, this could be an unmitigated disaster for the Los Angeles Lakers. We were actually just talking about this before we came on. I don't think the Celtics are in as bad shape as everyone thinks, because if we've learned one lesson from these massive free agent movements that we see every couple years in the offseason, there's going to be 3 out of the 5 teams that sign major talent that make huge mistakes. And then there are teams the year after that come in and swoop up those mistakes and make themselves better. Maybe the Celtics have a down year this season, but I don't think that Danny Ainge is dumb for what he's done, because he's not overextending himself and mortgaging 7 years down the line for a potential run where we don't know who's going to be good.
Is inmates running the asylum too harsh in terms of what's going on in the NBA, you think, right now?
Yeah, because I think it's agents running the asylum. I think there's a few key power brokers that are making all the moves, and if you're my guy and you're my guy, you guys are going to go together. And so I don't think it's the players as much as the key power agents that are doing all this.
And then the draft plays out, and I didn't know, you just told us today, you've coached Zion Williamson.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
That's why he's so good.
Right. Hard to be bad when you're coaching Zion, I'll say that. No, yeah, I mean, down at our USA camp, last October, I had him, along with a bunch of the other guys that were top of the country. And, the kid was incredible, and I didn't really know much about him, to be honest with you, when we got there. But there was one play in particular that I didn't think he asserted himself on defense, and I got on him a little bit. And the next play, he blocked a shot that, I could have sworn was over the top of the backboard. I couldn't believe it. And it just opened my eyes as to how coachable he was, how he wants to be great, he has passion for the game, and he treats his teammates the right way. He's one of those kids that you really can get behind. So I just had an amazing experience with him.
It isn't usually the way it goes, but are you comfortable with the fact that years down the road, you're going to be able to say, I coached Zion Williamson, probably, and be prouder of that than he will be to say, I was coached by Scott Fitch?
What do you mean? No, I just
He might invite you to the Hall of Fame induction.
There's no question. Yeah, he won't remember me, but the experience he gave me to allow him to coach him was really special.